The basement, where nerdiness thrives, and grown men rant about toys.
Not speaker brains.
It's not speaker brains.
It's fresh from the basement, boys.
Yeah, welcome to the very first episode of Fresh from the Basement.
Now I know what you're thinking. It's like, haven't I heard this dude's voice before on Speaker Brains? Wasn't he in that Pink Floyd cast or something? Well, I'm back, and me and Travis here came up with a little idea for a podcast, so we're going to try it out and see what happens.
Yeah, hell yeah. This is us just chilling and talking about nerdy shit.
Yep.
Because I mostly talk about music on our channel, and really that's all we talk about. Because that's really all I care about. But I do have a little piece in my heart for other nerdy things.
Yeah, and my YouTube channel is kind of an amalgamation of like everything I like: music, movies, mostly movies, but like I'm a total geek, so this is right up my alley. And also, this isn't too far off from Speaker Brains, because this first episode we are talking about music. So. Oh
yeah, we are. Fascinating. So. And so this is the Frank came up with this idea, the top 10 underrated cartoon themes.
Yeah, because I was looking through like compilations of cartoons from my youth, and I was like, wow, like some of these I remember like off the top of my head, but I hadn't actually listened to in a long time. It's like they're that catchy that they just stick with you, you know, like you're trying to take a test in school and that shit just comes back to bother you. But I was thinking about some of these, and I'm like, I don't hear a lot of people talking about these themes anymore. They're kind of underrated. Some of them you might not think are underrated on my list, but I'll explain that. But by the time you get to like 3, 2, and 1, it's like these are totally underrated themes. Like, yeah. I hear nobody talk about them, and they deserve more attention.
Definitely, and it was hard to come. We were talking about this a minute ago. It was hard to come up with a lot of these because, you know, I'd be like, damn, you know, it might be underrated to me, but other people might.
Yeah, there might be like a whole fan club. Like, we listen to that every day.
Yeah, and so. We just kind of based it off of how many people that we know talk about it.
Yeah, our personal preference.
Yeah, so I guess you want to go ahead with your number 10?
Sure. My number 10, and the reason why it's number 10 is because I'm sure a lot of people still talk about this theme, is Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends from Cartoon Network.
Damn, see, I never watched that.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Dude, how old are you?
As a kid, a lot of people can remember having an imaginary friend, so it's like a cute little, like, it's just a cute idea, but the theme song is so catchy that I'm sure people still remember it. It's got sort of an old-timey silent film kind of sound.
Oh, that's cool.
Plus kazoos, so... That
is badass. Like...
So I think Psycho Stick would be happy with all the kazoos.
Yeah. How old are you, dude?
I am turning 18 tomorrow, actually.
Oh, really? Happy birthday. But god damn. Alright, our lists are probably going to be, like, totally different, dude. Because I'm fucking about to be 31, dude. So, like, there's going to be a generation gap here.
Yeah. I mean, I like older shows, too. I watch, like, Ninja Turtles, The Real Ghostbusters. I watch all the 80s, 90s shows, too, so... Like, although I'm this age, I grew up with, like, original Nintendo VHS tapes and all this stuff, so I really am an old soul. But Foster's Home really was, like, one of the quintessential shows of my childhood generation-wise. Like, one of the new shows. Like, I remember when it first premiered.
God, dude, that's so long ago, man, because I remember when that was on, my fucking sister, dude, she's like almost 20 or 21, and now she's about to be fucking 20, dude. And I remember her being little as hell watching that shit when me and my brother would be smoking weed in the basement, fucking playing our instruments.
Dude. But it's like, the reason I put it on number 10 is one, because I'm sure, like I said before, I'm sure a lot of people still remember this theme. But it's also because, like, when you listen to this theme, it's bound to put a smile on your face, especially if you're, like, nostalgic for it.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
I haven't seen it in years, but I watched the theme, and it's like, it almost brought a tear to my eye, because I'm like, wow, like, I remember all this.
Damn. I'm gonna have to fucking check it out. Oh, I'm gonna eventually hear it because I'm gonna edit song clips in here when we name them off.
Yeah, and it's like, it also, like, brought a smile to my face, because it's like, if you watch, like, my top 10 favorite movies lists and stuff like that, it's like, there's no kid shows on there. I've been into, like, really dark stuff and stuff like that, so it's like, to look back on something so lighthearted, it's like, it's a breath of fresh air, really. It's like, wow, it's not Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? Awesome.
Man, that movie makes me want to do so many drugs. Oh God, it makes me want to just do acid and drive through the desert, man.
Hells yeah. That just reminded me of when we were talking about, I was going to say Sergeant Pepper, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, and you're like, this makes me want to get naked and dance with the Manson family. I'm like, that's the best quote. Somebody needs to put that on the album.
Yeah, dude. So-and-so from Rolling Stone says. Oh, shit.
So that's my number 10.
Alright, so my number 10, that's a good choice. I'm going to have to check that out. My number 10 is... I don't know, man. I don't know how many... me and my brother and this one other dude we used to hang out with are the only people that I know that know this cartoon. Fucking Fantastic Max.
They owe it all to that four-ply diaper and that safety pin. Fantastic Max!
Yeah, I can't say I've heard of it.
It was on... Cartoon Network was playing reruns of that shit back in like 93, 94. The show is a little older than that. But it's Max is this baby, and he has like a rocket ship, and he goes to outer space, and he like battles aliens and shit, and his diaper is like magic, and I don't fucking know, or something about his safety pin. God, it's been so long, dude. But
It sounds awesome.
Oh man, I barely remember shit about it, except for his like catchphrase was "Dirty diapies." But yeah, the theme song was kind of stuck in between, like, this is your 80s cartoon theme song where it's very upbeat and we're going to just tell you the entire story in 1 minute while we play over scenes, but the scenes have fucking sound effects in them, so like fucking it's just loud, something's constantly happening the whole time, and it's delightfully annoying. Cause like that's something that like 80s cartoons and early 90s cartoons, man, there was noise, constant fucking noise and sound
Dude, Ren and
effects.
Stimpy, like,
Yeah,
this was
dude.
the age of just demented cartoons.
And like take Garfield and Friends for instance. Like there is no moment of silence on that cartoon.
Not at all.
And I would always be like, you know, my grandparents would be like, turn it down, it's too loud. And I'm like, no, it's not. But now at 30 years old, I'm like, I totally.
Like, oh, now I'm starting to see what they meant.
Yeah, I totally fucking see what they mean. I'm like, God damn. But yeah, the song, God man, it's got like horns in it, and it's I guess it's underrated because like I said, I only know like 2 other fucking people, my goddamn brother and this old kid named Scott, that even knew of this cartoon.
Yeah, I'm just making a slight alteration to my number 9 because the theme song just got back in my head, and I was gonna like put it on here, but then I'm like, oh, maybe I could do the Kids Next Door theme, but it's like, that's still like a good theme that I think people remember. This theme, my number 9 that I just changed it to, Heathcliff. Bootleg fucking Garfield.
Yeah, dude. Bootleg Garfield with Bugs Bunny's voice.
Yeah, and I remember seeing like one episode on it because it was like an extra on a Super Mario Brothers DVD at my aunt's house when I was really little. But the theme song is still stuck in my head to this day, especially the part where it's like, whoa.
Yeah, dude, it had that.
No one should. I'm like, God damn it! Like it's not gonna leave my head anytime soon.
Like,
and I remember nothing about the show.
Yeah, dude.
All I remember is that like I feeling awkward watching it.
I have not seen it since I was a little fucking kid, dude. And a couple years ago, like when Netflix first started doing the streaming, me, my brother, and my wife, dude, we were like stoned as shit. And we were just like checking out the amazement of like, wow, fucking streaming stuff. And like Netflix had nothing, like at all.
Heathcliff, fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude. So we're like, let's watch this shit. And I'm like, oh fuck, Mel Blanc? Hell yeah, the man of 1,000 voices, right?
Yeah.
And it's goddamn Bugs Bunny's fucking voice. I was like, what the shit is this? Like,
And
you're the man with 1,000 voices?
Even, like, for the record, it's like not even that great of a song when you actually listen to it, but it's just, it'll stay in your head.
Yeah, dude. Isn't it like almost like Happy Days, kind of like almost a doo-woppy?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Very much like Happy Days.
Dude, I love doo-wop kind of music, man.
Me too, but now that you mention it, it's like it really is just the Happy Days ripoff.
Yeah, seriously, dude. Oh my god. Fucking
But that's my
Heathcliff.
number 9.
Bootleg ass Garfield, man. You said
That's
it right
what's
there.
gonna be known as for now. Bootleg Garfield.
Fuck yeah. It's Garfield with a fucking ugly ass baseball cap.
Because he's hip and cool with the kids, yo.
Yeah, bro.
Radical, don't have a cow, man.
So my number 9 is Rocket Power.
We are riders on a mission, action, kids in play position, rocket power.
Oh, dude. That's a show I haven't heard of in a long time. All I remember is Tito.
Dude, for real, man. Like, I was like 13 when this show came out, and my brother and I had just started skateboarding and stuff and getting into the extreme sports things, and we were like, all right, man, a cartoon about this stuff, man. And man, I remember being disappointed with it. I was like,
I was about to say, there's a lot of shows I remember from my childhood, but there are also shows it's like, yeah, I remember them, but I was never really that into them. Whenever Rocket Power came on, it like I'd watch it, but it's like I was never really interested.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, now this is on. It was kind of like when like the Nickelodeon started doing like the live action shows, and whenever Zoe 101 would come on, like when I heard that theme start up, I'm like, well, I'm bored.
yeah, like
I know I just pissed off a lot of people because everyone was like, Zoe 101 was amazing. And to be honest, yeah, it kind of was, especially when it started coming to the final seasons. I actually did start to get a little invested, but it's like every time I heard that, are you ready? Dun dun ooh, I'm like, yeah, I'm done, I'm out.
Yeah, I had actually quit watching Nickelodeon at that point, like right after Rocket Power came out. But like I watched it, dude, and I dug the fuck out of the song, man, because at that very same time, my brother and I were getting into The Offspring real big, and that song like has a slight Offspring vibe to it, and I dug the shit out of it. I was like, this is cool. But then the show fucking started, and I'm like, they're like the animation for the extreme sports side of it was awful. fucking awful, man. He'd be
What I
doing...
remember of the show, I remember, if I'm not mistaken, there was a character named Squid.
Yeah, I liked him.
I remember Surf Shack Tito.
And I liked him
And I
and
remember
the
there was
dad.
one episode where Tony Hawk was on there, but he was only there for like 2 seconds.
He was there to pick up his paycheck.
Yeah, and I remember when Tony Hawk was like the big thing. I remember playing Tony Hawk American Wasteland and stuff.
Yeah, dude. My brother killed those games, man. I
Yeah,
couldn't...
I recently bought it from a Comic-Con again, and I'm looking at it, and I've never loved yet hated a soundtrack at the same time.
Dude, you're not lying.
Because on the one hand, you got shit like Black Flag, which is amazing. I'm like, Henry Rollins, fuck yeah. Dead Kennedys, awesome. But then they got like fucking My Chemical Romance covering Astro Zombies by the Misfits, and it's like, out of all the people who could have covered Astro Zombies, why you? And
Just get the original Astro Zombies.
Yeah, it's like if you can get the original California Over Alice and the original Rise Above, why can't you just get the Misfits? And on the back, they treat it like it's the most awesome thing in the world. It's like, plus covers of punk classics by Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance. It's like, no.
What a way to ruin classics.
Yeah.
But like,
I also remember that you kickflip over someone who's supposed to be Ben Affleck.
Yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, I dug the shit out of the song, but the show was whatever. I mean, I watched it, like you said, I watched it, but I was never like, oh my god, dude, rocket power's on.
Yeah, I used to spend a lot of my time at my aunt's house throughout the day. So there was nothing really much to do. Like, sometimes she'll do fun activities with us, but for the most part, I was just sitting down there watching Nickelodeon, sitting in the basement watching Nickelodeon, and then when Rocket Power would come on, I'd be bored. But thank God she had an original Nintendo, because that... I had to know how to beat Glass Joe. That's how bad I was at Punch-Out when I was so little that I couldn't even beat Glass Joe. And then when I got the Von Kaiser, he scared the fuck out of me.
Hell yeah.
So my number 8 is actually a cartoon for adults. It's an anime, Hellsing.
I never watched that.
It's bad. Okay, so the anime is kind of a guilty pleasure because it doesn't really follow the manga really well because the manga wasn't done yet. So they had to sort of like bullshit a new storyline. And the animation is kind of cheap. Hellsing Ultimate is a much better show. But the reason why this is number 8 on the list is because the soundtrack is legendary among fans of the show. The soundtrack has a nice jazzy feel, while also keeping like sort of a horror aspect to it, and it just fits the tone of the show. Because whether you like the anime or hate it, it's like you'll still admit there are parts about it that are just utterly badass, and the soundtrack complements it like perfectly. And I can't get it out of my head. It's like I wish it was on iTunes so I could download it because I would listen to this shit. The whole soundtrack is great.
Hey, if you want the song, dude. If you want the song, go on YouTube, type in Hellsing theme song, right?
And copy the link and put it on like the YouTube to MP3.
Yeah, one of them little converters. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really done that before. I'm still trying to wrap my head around like how exactly to do it because I've tried doing that sometimes and sometimes it wouldn't like.
Yeah, sometimes it won't do it right. Because I'm doing it all the time, dude, with our shows.
Absolutely amazing. The one problem with the OVA, which follows closer to the book, Hellsing Ultimate, is that it didn't have the theme. But it's awesome.
Man, see, I never got into too much anime, man. Like, I watched...
I'm not even a big anime guy either. I mean, I liked Dragon Ball Z. In retrospect, I liked Pokemon. As a kid, I wasn't into it. That was always like my brother's thing. I sort of passively watched Yu-Gi-Oh! I was also a really tiny kid with ADD, so focusing on stuff was not my forte. You know, I was watching Power Rangers because that shit was easy to digest. There was ADD all over the place.
Yeah.
But as I get older, I start to respect more anime. Like, I like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And Hellsing is probably my favorite, but it's not because, like, oh, it's an anime. Like, I respect anime. I don't watch much of it.
Yeah.
But I don't. And I'll make jokes about, like, I'll make jokes about like the weeaboo memes and stuff like that, but I don't hate it. Like I respect it as an art form.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
Hellsing so far is my favorite.
I remember getting into it when I was about like 12 years old because they used to show a lot of anime on the Sci-Fi Channel, but I had like no idea what the fuck was going on, and I started watching Dragon Ball Z in my late teens, and that was about as far as I really got.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z was like the one that brought anime into like the American mainstream. Like before
Yeah.
that, it was like Speed Racer and like you.
Now
could
I
make fun of
fucking
those
love
powers.
Speed Racer, man.
That's like Speed Racer and Astro Boy.
Fucking
But
Speed
yeah,
Racer's my
Hellsing
shit.
is certainly a good treat to listen to.
Speed Racer is my shit, dude. Like, even the fucking movie, man. I fucking love
I
the
saw that
goddamn
movie in theaters.
Me too, dude. Dude, my brother and my wife fucking hate that shit. I fucking took them with me to go see the movie, right? Dude, we were the only adults there. I was like, what the fuck? Like, where's all my fucking people at, man? Like, what the fuck? It was nothing but little kids. I'm like, these kids don't give a fuck about Speed Racer.
They're watching like the new 3D animated Speed Racer. Meanwhile, like my aunt was there. Was like when I was a kid, we had Speed Racer too. But what's it called? What's his name? Aaron from Game Grumps, the guy who also works with Danny from Ninja Sex Party. I know, like, if I remember liking the movie as a kid, but I'm sure if I liked it now, I wouldn't like it, but it's actually Ego Raptor from Game Grumps. It's his favorite movie. I'm not sure if he was joking or not, but I could totally see that. He actually, like, really loves the Speed Racer movie, and I'll give it this. John Goodman was great in it.
Yeah, dude, he was the perfect choice for Pops, man.
Even in bad movies, it's like John Goodman always gives it his all.
Yeah, he was like the perfect fucking choice for Pops Racer. Like that movie, man. I don't know, man. To me, the Wachowskis fucking they understood Speed Racer. When I watched that movie,
they
I was
got
like,
the look down. They got the look down.
that is awesome. The feel, the fun, but there was, dude. We were stoned as fuck when we went to go see that movie, dude. And it was back when I hadn't smoked weed in a long time, so like the high lasted.
It's like a whole new world.
Dude, I was like, oh my god, dude, I almost couldn't handle myself.
I totally forgot the Wachowskis did it. That actually makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. Oh shit, I fucking loved it.
So Hellsing was my number 8.
So my number 8 is goddamn motherfucking. God, see that? Is this a cop out or is this is one of them that I'm like, this can't be underrated, but like
I'm on the edge of my seat.
I don't know anyone who fucking talks about it. The theme song to Ah Real Monsters.
I have very vague memories of that show. I remember being very weirded out by it, but no, I don't hear much people talk about the theme song.
Yeah, that was one of the last Nicktoons that I absolutely loved when I was younger.
Yeah, that's like classic Nicktoons right there.
That shit was great. It was weird. The animation was cool. Like there was the imaginations and then the designs and shit. It was all really really cool.
It's like back before like children's cartoons were like too afraid to like scare their audience.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't care that it looked like demented and freaky. It's like some kids need that shit.
Yeah, that shit was tight. And so yeah, the theme song was cool, man. Like it's another one with the sound effects in there, but like you know you got babies crying and shit.
I remember the dude holding his own eyeballs like that thing from Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, that dude was fucking. That was Crumb, man. Like he had fucking armpit hair sticking out and shit, and yeah, dude, that was a cool fucking cartoon. But the theme song, dude, was like it had this cool spooky vibe, and it just kind of like it just fit the show so well, man. Even the music in the show, it was like this weird, playful and spooky kind of shit. It was
kind of like Tim Burton-esque.
In a way, I guess, yeah. In a way.
When I think Ah Real Monsters, I almost remember when Beetlejuice had the cartoon, and that theme song was awesome, too.
Man, fuck yeah, it was.
I'm kind of regretting not putting that on my list, but,
It'll probably be on my best list.
yeah.
Because...
Like a runner-up list, I would have put the Beetlejuice theme, but I've actually heard some people talk about it, so...
Yeah, like, everyone I know loves the cartoon, and, like, we're constantly... Because, I mean, it was the theme to the fucking movie with just added moments.
Yeah, with awesome animation.
Definitely.
So your number 8, Real Monsters. And
yeah.
I actually don't think that was a cop-out, but I guess since I barely remember the show, people who actually, like, still watch the show will probably think. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure other 30-year-olds are going to be like, what the fuck, man? I love that cartoon. I love that song.
But yeah, a lot of the, like, so far, most of these shows, like Heathcliff, and now my number 7, and some of the stuff you've been saying is like, I barely remember watching it, but the theme songs stick with you. And number 7 is another Cartoon Network show that I have very vague recollection of, but the thing that stood out most was the theme song, and this is Mucha Lucha.
Mucha lucha, mucha lucha. It's the way of life. Mucha lucha, mucha lucha.
Ah, see, I never watched that either.
Yeah, they're kind of forgettable shows, but the theme song is so epic. It has such a great, like, mariachi sound. It almost sounds like something Tarantino would use in that scene in Kill Bill. Where she's going up against Oren. Like, it sounds like that kind of, like, disco, yet also mariachi. Like, you just want to dance to it.
Badass. I can get behind some fucking mariachi shit.
They got the sick horns and stuff, and also just, like, the opening to it is a dude just yelling, like, mucha, like, mucha, and the horns start going out. It's sick. It's amazing. It just gets you pumped for the show to come.
Badass.
But yeah, I can't really say much about it. Just Mucha Lucha, it just has a great sound.
Hell yeah, dude. Like, let me remove some of these off of my list so I don't get, like, mixed up.
Yeah, I should check mine off too.
Because I don't have them in order here. What the fuck did I just goddamn do? How many did I do?
You did your number 8 last.
Okay, cool. So I guess my number fucking 7, dude, has definitely got to be, it's another Cartoon Network cartoon. And, God, dude, what year were you born, man? I can't do math at the moment.
99.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
Dude, that's when fucking Rocket Power was coming out. Oh my God.
I'm one of those hipsters that are like, I wish I was born in a different generation, because it's like, I'm into so much stuff, and I could talk to, like, people about these shows for hours, but then when they hear my age, it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, how do you know all this shit?
So, my number 7 is Cow and Chicken.
Cow? Chicken?
Yep, I remember this show good.
Yeah, I fucking loved that.
This show was fun.
Daddy had a chicken, or whatever. How the fuck did that go?
Had a cow.
Yeah. Oh my
I remember
God.
the dude, the devil guy.
Yeah, man, the fucking devil guy, and dude, that was Cartoon Network trying so hard to have their own Ren and Stimpy, but like it totally worked.
Yeah.
Like I know you've got to know about the episode that was pulled off the air, the Buffalo Gals.
I think I may have heard about it.
They were a bunch of biker lesbian women, and they fucking busted into into Cow and Chicken's house and were just constantly eating the carpet, dude.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Dude, I remember when that episode aired. Dude, I remember when that episode aired, man, and I'm like watching it. I remember being like, whatever.
Something's off.
I don't know what's going on here. I didn't know what the fuck that shit was at that time. I'm like, whatever, man. They're just eating their carpet.
I also remember Cow's voice. Cal's voice still, like, unnerves me to this day.
Man, it's annoying, isn't it?
Like, not even knowing, it's just so, like, if you heard that voice in the middle of the night, like, while you're sleeping in bed, like, you'd shit your pants.
Like, dude, Cow and Chicken both had, like, fairly grating voices. But they're like, that was a wild cartoon, man.
Yeah. So that was your number 7.
Yeah, because you had that sweet fucking guitar riff in there. Bow, 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 bow. Cow.
Yeah.
Dude.
Alright, so my number 6 is actually a tie since these two cartoons are from the same studio.
Ah.
We have Total Drama Island and 16.
The mom and dad, I'm doing fine. You guys are on my mind. You asked me what I wanted to be. I'm 16, starting to find my way. Got a new job, gonna start at the mall today.
I have
They're both
never even heard of them.
Canadian-made television shows, but they both have pretty catchy themes, whether I'd like to admit it or not. I'll actually admit, like, Total Drama Island has such a great, like, theme song, but 16 has sort of, like, a cringy sort of pop-punkish feel, but it's, like, it's still catchy that's, like, I gotta love it.
Guys, I had never even heard of those cartoons.
So Total Drama Island is, like, a cartoon parody of Survivor. It's like a game show, but for cartoons, and it's actually really funny. I wouldn't say, like, most of the jokes are clever, but it's likable. It's, like, a charming, likable show. And then 16 deals with 16-year-olds who work at a mall. So it's pretty much like a cleaner version of Mallrats.
Yeah.
Even to the point where they deal with, like, the security guard and stuff like that. But, I don't know. I remember watching these shows one after the other, and it's because after Total Drama Island became a big hit on Cartoon Network, they brought 16 over to it, which was already a show in Canada and stuff like that. So they were just showing reruns of that. And I remember liking it. I remember the theme song, like, still sticks in my head to this day. To the point where when they got to, like, the 3rd season of Total Drama Island, they got meta and they, like, referenced the 16 theme song, except it was with the Total Drama Island characters.
Hell no.
But, like, once you hear it, it's gonna get stuck in your head. Which is funny, because now I look back and I'm like, that's not how my 16th year went at all.
Yeah.
It was more sitting in my room and crying. Just kidding. But it's like nobody hangs out at the mall anymore. It's like, I go to a mall, it's like deserted.
Dude, people get shot in our mall. All the time, dude. It happened, like, 3 times within a month last year.
Yo, fuck, dude.
Thug life.
Yeah. Where no one else would find you, the mall.
I mean,
unless it's Black Friday.
Seriously, dude. Like, once
Murder still
our
happened,
mall...
but in that case, it's acceptable.
There were 3 stores in our mall that were worth a fuck. There was FYE, Hot Topic, and Spencer's. Spencer's went to shit, Hot Topic went to shit, and then they closed down FYE, so I have, like...
Yeah. Oh my god, all the FYEs around me got closed. Thank God there's a record store by my house called Looney Tunes. That place is sick. But, like, when FYE got shut down, it was like... Because that was, like, the place I'd go to, like, Frank, you have a birthday coming up, or Frank, you have Christmas. It's like, I can knock out your entire list in one day. You don't even need to wait. We just need to go there. I'll pick out this DVD, this DVD, this CD, that CD. There you go. And I'll wait till Christmas to open them.
Yeah, true that.
Nowadays, it's like Amazon, but then I'll go down to Looney Tunes and stuff like that. But Hot Topic is like a short... I like going there because some of the shirts and products are good, but it's like it's gotten such a reputation that when you go in there, like, you're kind of like, should I really be shopping here? People are going to call me like an emo fuckboy.
Like, dude, I was a fucking goth kid all the way when our Hot Topic opened, man, and they had it was for fucking goth kids and freaks, dude. Then, like, 2 years later, man, I'm walking in there, and then I start seeing the more scene kid shit and whatever.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, I walk in there, I'm like, yeah, they got cool shirts here, but it's like, I guess what I could say about Hot Topic is, like, I like the stuff they sell, I don't like the shoppers.
Yeah, dude. I remember there was one day when all the scene kid shit came up in there. my buddy and I were in there, and he picks up this Hawthorne Heights, I believe is the name of the band. He picks up, or it was a Thrice, or one of them. It was a calendar with all of them on there, and he picks it up, and he's like, "Oh, it's a Seeing Fun for Hot Topic. I see that kid over there, and I see this kid over there." Yeah, I quit going there once I started seeing Taylor Swift shirts, dude.
Yeah.
No.
I actually Christmas was coming along, and I was thinking, it's like, I'm making my own money now, and I want a gift. So I'm like, what would my brother's girlfriend like? And it's like, she likes Blink-182 and all that stuff. So
Oh, their new album was god awful.
yeah, like, my friend is like huge punk rock fan and like despises pop punk. So I walk into a Hot Topic and buy a Blink-182 shirt for my brother's girlfriend. But then just to fuck with him, because I love like making him question why he's my friend, I text him, I'm like, dude, I just bought a Blink-182 shirt in a Hot Topic. He's like, why would you do such a thing?
Oh, shit.
But hey, he was happy with it, so it's a worthy sacrifice.
Yeah, so what number are we on now? 6?
Yeah, I just did my number 6.
Alright. Alright, let me see. My number 6 is The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, this is also on my list somewhere.
Oh, shit. Dude, like,
this was my favorite show on Cartoon Network.
I can agree with that, man. I love the fuck out of it. I love the
art style. I love the darkness of it. The comedy, as I get older, like, some of the comedy is like cheap fart jokes, but at the same time, they also have really clever jokes in there too. But this was what I was talking to you about before we started the podcast. Like, there's some themes out there where it's like, the theme is like good, but it's like the opening animation that makes it even better.
Yeah.
And that shit blew my mind. But even the music itself sounds like you're going into some fucking, like, Lovecraftian nightmare.
Yeah, and, like, I love, like, spooky Halloween music and shit like that. And, fucking with the little synthesizer going on and shit, and kind of like...
I love when the zombies raise their hands out of the fucking graves and they have the devil horns going.
Yeah, dude, like, that song kicks ass. And then... You're right, the show was a lot of dumb, cheap jokes, but I loved it because that was, like, around the peak of my goth days, and I was like, yeah, dude, this show is so goth, man.
But they also had, like, some clever, like, references in there. Like, there was an episode where, it turns out Dracula is related to Irwin's dad or something, and they're like, what? You always told me my father was a navigator on a spice freighter. I'm like, did they just reference Star Wars?
And then, like the episode, dude, with all the Voltaire songs. And
yeah, I was about to get into that. The episode with the brains.
Yeah, dude.
Like, that is actually some of the best animation I've ever seen. Like, that's art. That is a great, like, music video all on its own. And I'm glad, like, I'm glad you could actually find his songs from Billy and Mandy on iTunes. He did Land of the Dead for one of the TV movies, and then he did the Brains song. And the Brains song is... Yeah. Maxwell Adams is like a mad doctor.
Yeah, dude.
With these shows. I remember playing the video game growing up. What else was I thinking of, man? Like, we'll get back to it once we get it to where it is on my list, but, what's it called? Fuck, I'm trying to remember something now. Yeah, there's the episode with the brains, but, shit. I guess we'll remember when I get back to it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a definitely, I mean, it's probably not underrated to everybody who liked it, you know? But to me, no, I hear nobody talk about it. Like, the only people that me and my small group of people are the only ones that really, talk about it. Hello? think we're having technical difficulties. The fuck just happened?
Oh, somebody called me. I'm using my phone right now, but I'm back.
Oh. Shit. So what is your number, are you on 5 now?
Yeah, I'm on 5.
Sweet.
Okay, so my number 5 is the theme song to Season 8 of Alvin and the Chipmunks, and this song is Chipmunks Go to the Movies.
Alright, hold on 2 seconds.
Alright. Well, looks like we're all alone, my lovelies. Welcome to Fresh from the Basement, Frank Edition.
So it is not We're the Chipmunks. CHMU. What the
No, it's not. Watch out. And here we come. No, it's
It's
Chipmunks
been a
Go to
while,
the
but
Movies.
we're back in style. I like that
Yeah.
song.
I kind of hate to admit that this is on my list because the Chipmunks have gotten they get more annoying as you grow older.
Yeah,
Especially with, I remember seeing all these live action movies in the theaters. I didn't even go see the 4th one, but it's I watched them again and I'm I feel so bad for Jason Lee, but the cartoons weren't that bad. The cartoons
yeah,
were
the
cute.
cartoons were alright. I enjoyed them.
The movies, I'm Jason Lee, you're better than this.
I saw the first fucking movie and I was pissed off, dude. I was like, how dare you fucking do this?
Yeah, I saw the first 3 in theaters, and like I said, I look back at them, I feel bad for Jason Lee and David Cross, because these are 2 hilarious people. I'm David Cross, what the fuck are you doing here?
mean, really, dude? Fuck. That
David
shit.
Cross in a kid's movie, I'm okay.
Yeah, that works. Oh my god.
But Chipmunks Go to the Movies, I'm a huge movie buff and stuff like this, and stuff like that, so it almost sounds like a great, opening theme to, a show where you talk about movies.
So what the fuck was Chipmunks Go to the Movies?
And, the opening had them, going through, bootleg versions of your favorite movie, a bootleg Darth Vader. They'd pass by a shark, and it'd be Jaws. But the theme song is really catchy. It's action camera, light up the big screen, Chipmunks go to the movies.
I
And they're saying,
remember that. God damn.
Yeah. No matter who you are, you could be the star. It gets that feeling of movie magic inside you. It makes you forget that Hollywood is a bunch of sellouts. It's wow, we're on a movie set.
Damn. And yeah, it really did hurt when the Chipmunks went to the movies.
Yeah, it did.
I didn't watch any of those
we always
fucking
have the
sequels.
classic. We always have the Christmas themes, so.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
not to mention, Jason Lee's Alvin scream is so he didn't give a shit.
It gives
When
no
you-
fucks. It.
He's
Oh,
man.
It's so bad, dude. It is
But then
so
when you
fucking
listen
bad.
to the original Christmas Time is here, Dave sounds like he wants to fucking murder Alvin.
Yeah, dude. It sounds
it sounds like some domestic abuse shit's about to happen.
yeah, as soon as they fucking hit stop on the in the studio, he fucking took Alvin to the back room and gave him a black eye or two.
Alvin! And he's fuck! He turns into Joe Jackson.
Alvin!
Okay, I'll do it. Stop hitting me.
But yeah, dude.
Somebody call PETA.
Yeah, call fucking PETA.
But yeah, Chipmunks Go to the Movies will get stuck in your head, man. It really will.
So my number 5 has definitely got to be, and this is one thing too, a lot of these songs to me, I can almost do without the lyrics, except for some of them, because sometimes the lyrics are oh yeah, that's the Rocket Power, those are really goofy lyrics, but at the same time it's oh yeah, that's the Rocket Power theme, dude. We are riders on a mission, but this one I can definitely do without any of the words because the music to me is so fucking good on it. And it's Hey Arnold.
actually contemplated putting this on my list, but I know like there are people who like adore Nicktoons. So again, it was sort of that argument, like what could be considered underrated? But it's like,
Yeah, seriously.
I guess as long as it ain't the SpongeBob theme, it's like it's underrated.
And in fact, now that I'm looking at it, 4 out of my last 5 here are actually Nicktoons. And
yeah,
then
they're some of the best cartoons out there, so
they really were.
I don't blame you. And then there was also like, I also refrained from putting any of like the WB like Spielberg cartoons out there because I think like everyone remembers the Pinky and the Brain theme and the Freakazoid theme. But the Freakazoid theme's been in my head like all day.
Runs around in underwear, Freakazoid. I fucking love that.
That's not on the list, but yeah, I could totally see Hey Arnold being on there. This was another show that's like when it came on, I didn't really care for it, but hey, it's TV.
Like
so.
I loved Hey Arnold when it first started, but then like a good year or two, maybe 3 years into it, all the voice actors changed. Or their voice, I don't know, man. I swear I've heard like 5 different voices for Gerald alone, and it always just kind of fucked with me. I'm like, now they sound like when it first started, they sounded like kids, but well lived in kids, like they've been around. But then like, by the time the movie came out, they just sounded like kids to me.
Yeah.
But
I was just thinking about this. This just came to my head. Like, there's an overabundance of football head-shaped cartoon characters out there. I just realized because it's like we got Arnold, we got Stewie from Family Guy, and then we got Number One from Kids Next Door. It's like
yeah,
3 too many times. Like, how many times can somebody think like, let's shape his head like an oval?
Yeah, like. Arnold was definitely the first one that I noticed. Because they would even blatantly fucking call him Football Head in the cartoon. Like, they would call attention to it. But the song, dude...
Who was the girl who, like, hated yet loved Arnold? Wasn't that, like, Helga or something?
Helga, yeah. She was creepy, dude.
There's a funny meme out there. Because you know how she, like, keeps his, like, face in a locket? It's like, I hate you, but I love you.
Yeah.
But I hate you. They took out Arnold's face. And they put Maynard James Keenan from Tool on there. It's like, I hate you, but I love you, but I hate you. I'm like, yep, I feel that all the way.
But I love the song, dude, because it's like that. It's jazz with the fairly electro kind of hip hop beat to it, but
it's very suburban.
Yeah, straight up fucking urban jazz, and goddamn.
And the opening, like, animation, it looks like something from, like, West Side Story's about to happen.
Yeah, dude, it looks like they're about to start killing each other.
Yeah, it's really good. Again, these are probably shows, like, I'll appreciate now when I watch them again, now that I actually have, like, an attention span.
But, like, the whole time the song is playing, and you've got Arnold.
Yeah.
Arnold! I'm like, shut up, bitch, I'm listening to the song.
It would be funny if Arnold just break character. It's like, I'm right here!
Seriously, like, shut up, bitch. Fucking let Miles Davis play, goddammit. Let fucking Thelonious Monk play, goddammit.
Yeah.
But, fuck, that song was awesome, dude. But yeah, all that, Arnold.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about all these Nicktoons, and I'm regretting not putting the Rugrats theme on here. But again, I'm sure Rugrats has its fan base that I'm sure it's not underrated at all.
That's one that I definitely I thought about, but I was like, that's too...
It's well known.
Yeah.
People know that one. People look back on Rugrats with, like, great fucking memories.
And you know, I loved it until they brought it back. When they brought it back...
All Grown Up was, like, awful.
Dude, I actually dug some of the jokes in All Grown Up. Like, dude, you can easily tell that, like, fucking Phil and Lil were straight up... Well, not Phil and Lil, but Dill. You can totally fucking be like, Dill is smoking weed in the back of the house.
Yeah.
All the fucking time.
Like, it's an interesting concept, but I really preferred it more when they were babies.
Yeah, like, the stories weren't that good.
Into what they grew up into. Like, it's always fun to, like, theorize who they would grow up to be.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there's this guy on the internet, the Nostalgia Critic, who did, like, a Nicktoons, like, month many years ago.
Yeah.
You know, Tommy would grow up to be Garth from Wayne's World. Phil and Lil would grow up to be the Cusacks.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude.
fucking, I forgot. I think Tommy would grow up to be, who was the dude who played Jerry in Straight Outta Compton? Who was that actor?
Shit, I have no idea.
What's his name? He's a really weird actor. He was from Sideways, but he said like Tommy would grow up into him.
Oh, you're talking about Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, he said Tommy would grow up into Paul Giamatti, and the worst of all, the worst of all is Angelica would grow up to be Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, like, dude, speaking of Nostalgia Critic, man, I started watching all those guys on That Guy with the Glasses, like, back when they first started, and I remember when That Guy with the Glasses.com only had, like, 4 fucking people on it.
Oh, yeah, now it's, like, packed.
Yeah, now it's like, I don't even want to, like, know any of you people.
But they're, like, aware of that, too. Like, they acknowledge that it's an issue, so, like, they try to get as many people aware, but it's like, I give reviewers a chance. I mean, I like pretty much all of them.
Yeah,
I always like finding a new critic on there. Like, I'll check them out, but, like, yeah, you really do get stuck on, like, you know, I love Nostalgia Critic, Cinema Snob. I remember when Spoonie was on there. Spoonie was great.
Yeah, Spoonie was fun. I remember when fucking Lord Cat was on there and fucking, like, way back in the day, man. Like, because I remember I was watching his Nicktoons month back when he was first doing it, and I was like, fucking loving this shit. I was like, man, this is some awesome shit. But I mean, I don't watch them all as much as I used to. Fucking, like, the last one I was really keeping up with was Blockbuster Buster, and I've kind of dropped off on him too.
Yeah, I watch a couple of his videos. Like, if I'm interested in the movie and I want to look up a review and I, like, know the name, like, I'll watch some of his reviews. I'm not, like, too big on him, but it's like, he's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mostly, I keep up with Doug Walker even after he killed off the Nostalgia Critic, then brought it back, which I remember at first. At first, I wasn't really a fan of the reviews, but now, like, they've really gotten back into...
Like,
really gotten good
when he killed off the Nostalgia Critic, I was fine with that. I was sad because I had been watching him every Wednesday for a couple years at that point, but I was
I was just getting into them, too. Like, I was just, like, keeping up, like, actually going on the site to get the reviews before they were, like, uploaded to YouTube.
Yeah.
And the first one I come back to was, like, Scooby-Doo. It's like, there was his final review before he, And I respected his decision. You know, the show he tried to do afterwards, like, didn't go over well.
But I liked it. I was like, I was enjoying it.
But I like the Nostalgia Critic. That I like that he brought the Nostalgia Critic back. That he's got more than just himself now.
Yeah.
Like, at first I thought it wasn't gonna work well. That's like, oh, you're just trying to pay the actors from demo reel. But no, they're actually really awesome. In fact, what's really cool about Tamara and Malcolm is that, like, they, like, keep in touch with the fan base. Like, if you tweet at them, they'll tweet back. It's like, it's cool. You could like chat with them.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're really awesome.
But yeah, I know a lot of people hate on his new reviews, and, like...
Well, people have been hating on him since the start. It's
you
like,
ain't lying,
like,
dude.
Doug Walker's a guy, it's like, whether you either love him or you hate him.
And I still like his stuff, you know. But I'm not like I used to be, where I'm like, every week I gotta watch him. Now I'll kind of like, what I'll do is like, I'll wait a couple weeks and then I'll binge them.
Yeah. There are times where I'll just be like playing a video game and I like background noise, so I'm like, I'll listen to, I'll put on a Nostalgia Critic playlist.
Yeah, I do that with Brad Jones.
I love Brad Jones.
The midnight screenings.
I think that's where I first heard Chipmunks Go to the Movies, because somebody edited Midnight Screenings, his show, and they made an intro to it with that theme.
Damn. But fucking yeah, so what the hell number was that?
That Chipmunks Go to the Movies was my number 5, and I'm assuming you just did your number 5.
Yeah, so that was
my number 4, we already talked about, is The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
hell yeah.
And I still don't remember what I was going to say, but
like, dude, he had like the biggest nose, man.
Yeah. Oh my God, there was that song when the band Purple Filth came on and they had fucking like Grimm as the lead singer and they just played this awesome fucking song.
Yeah, dude.
That wasn't Voltaire, but it was still good. This is what I was going to mention. The DVD. They don't really have much DVD releases for Billy and Mandy, but they have season 1 on DVD on Amazon, and it's almost $100. That's how rare it is.
Oh my god.
And I keep looking back at it, and I'm so tempted. It's like, I love the show so much, I'm almost crazy enough to do it. But then I, like, push back. I'm like, nah, because the DVD's probably not even good quality.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like they don't have any of the other seasons. I remember it used to be on Netflix for a little while.
Yeah,
but
it
then
was.
they took it down.
It damn sure was.
But it's so tempting to do. But yeah, Billy and Mandy is my favorite Cartoon Network show, and I'm glad they sometimes bring it back during the Halloween season.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
good to see it again.
Definitely.
And what's it called? Is it just me, or does the Boogeyman sort of remind you of James Woods when you hear his voice?
Yeah.
And my friend just mentioned this to me. It's like, yo, I just realized that Grimm and Billy and Mandy is Jamaican. I'm like, you just realized that?
Yeah, dude. Like I always thought
like,
that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like not something you'd expect the Grim Reaper to sound like, but it really works.
Yeah, it totally fit. Like,
and I love how they take all these things that aren't supposed to be scary, and they're all just like wimps.
Yeah.
And we all remember the Cord episode. That one was the best.
And then what was that? Was that spider that was hanging out with him on one of them?
Jeff the Spider.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, hey, Dad. And he's just really polite, and Billy just beats the shit out of him.
God,
and he had that
dude.
really huge fish once that sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Hell yes. God, dude, I have not seen that cartoon in so many years. It's been probably over 10 years. Seriously.
Like, I'm sure you could, find them on YouTube in, really shitty quality, but they really need to do, a better DVD release of them.
Yeah, I don't know why they fucking happen.
Yeah. It's sort of like something they've forgotten. Like, with that and Ed, Ed and Eddie were, my two favorite shows.
Dude,
right
Ed, Ed and
there.
Eddie was
they have
awesome.
Ed, Ed and Eddie on DVD, so it's like, get on it. More Grim Adventures, please.
Yeah, Ed, Ed and Eddie was fucking awesome. But,
I really liked the dark tone, yet comedy of it. Mandy is one of the most hilarious characters you could ever find in the cartoon.
Dude, she's
especially when you get older.
She's like fucking Wednesday from the Addams Family movies in cartoon form.
Yeah, and the voice actress just pulls it off awesomely. Is that even a word? She just pulls it off great. I love the little messages she always does in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
That was always the funny. It's just because I'm a big fan of dry wit, and that's where you go to Billy for the booger and fart jokes, but then you go to Mandy for
the real smart shit,
for the quips, and the dark humor. So it was a good balance.
Her deadpan fucking delivery was spot on.
Yeah. And that she was always wanting to take over the world. So many episodes ended with her taking over the world.
See, dude, do you remember before it was the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? It was the Grim and Evil show. I
remember seeing a little bit of it.
That I was disappointed with that.
I remember seeing the pilot of Grim Adventure and Billy and Mandy where they do the limbo game, and the animation is very different from what it became. The voice acting took a lot to evolve, and it's it really is weird. But most pilots are like that. You watch the pilot episode to The Simpsons, which was the Christmas episode.
That's some awful shit.
It's not it's awful, but it's just really awkward, and that's why. When we get to my number 3 show, it's this is why you need to give more time for shows to thrive. This is why, again, Garfunkel and Oates should have gotten the second season like we were talking before we started the podcast. It's they don't let people find their way anymore. With Billy and Mandy, they let them get past that awkward phase of the first few episodes. Mm-hmm. But nowadays, it's if you're not good right off the bat, fuck you. It's come on, we're still trying to find ourselves here.
So, my number 4 pick, it's a tie, but it's for the exact same cartoon, because there are 2 different theme songs. They're fairly similar, but completely unique. Rocco's Modern Life.
Good as new.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Yeah, that's one I was contemplating putting on here. That's a catchy theme right there.
Yeah, because like when the show first started, you know, it was just Rocco's Modern Life, Rocco's Modern Life. And then like a year or two later, the fucking B-52s did the theme song, and like really, I like both, but the B-52s fucking did it, man. Like, cause it's like you got old girl fucking going Rocco's Modern Life, and then Fred fucking Snyder going Rocco's Modern Life.
Yeah.
And fucking like I fucking dug the shit out of that. But I hear nobody ever fucking talk about it. They might be like, "Oh yeah, I used to watch Rocco. That was cool." But
Yeah, they remember the show, but nobody really talks about the theme.
seriously.
But I know there'll be times where I'm like doing the laundry or doing some chores, and I'll just start talking in Rocco's voice. I'll just be like, "Mrs. Bighead."
Yeah. God damn.
Or
dude.
yeah, I'll be talking to Mrs. Bighead's voice, like, "Oh, Rocco."
Oh, Rocco.
The fucking fucked up ideas people come up with. A theme I was contemplating putting on this list too was also the Johnny Bravo theme, but I think everyone knows that one.
Yeah,
I think
dude.
everyone loves Johnny Bravo.
I missed that cartoon, man.
I remember when Superstorm Sandy hit Long Island. I was staying at my aunt's house, and we were just like hanging out watching like old cartoons. And weirdly enough, we're watching an episode of fucking Johnny Bravo, and it turns out Seth MacFarlane, the dude who created Family Guy, like actually wrote for a couple of those cartoons.
Yeah.
So it's weird to say. I'm like, did that just say Seth MacFarlane? That's
Did you
interesting.
see any of a lot of those cartoons from Cartoon Network started on a show called World Premiere Tunes, and it would just be one-off short cartoon episodes. Johnny Bravo started that way. Cow and Chicken, Courage the Cowardly Dog, all of them. Powerpuff Girls. But there was one that Seth MacFarlane did with Brian the Dog and fucking Peter. And he's using the same voices for them. And it's got cheap. It's like, it's just him, you know, it's just him doing Hanna-Barbera humor because he's getting a shot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's weird, you're watching these fucking... You're clearly hearing Brian's voice and Peter's voice coming out of this old man and this completely different fucking dog, and it's like, it's pretty weird, but...
Yeah, when you find out like what they... When you know what they become.
Yeah.
You know, it's... Yeah, I can see that. Like, it's kind of... I don't mean to go dark, but it's like... It's kind of like watching an interview with Kurt Cobain and being, like, feeling awkward. It's because, like, you know what's coming. It's like...
Yeah,
You watch, like, fucking this weird cartoon. It's like... It's weird because you know what they're going to evolve into for better or for worse. Because I like the early seasons of Family Guy. And, like, nowadays, I could care less about Family Guy. I've sort of, like, grown out of it.
Like, my wife, she'll still watch the new ones, like, when we have nothing to watch, and there will be a joke or two that has me chuckle, but for the most part, I'm like, whatever.
It's kind of like the Adam Sandler effect for me, but not as bad as Adam Sandler, where it's like, I know you have talent, but at this point, you're just not using it, and that's what makes me, like... But on one hand, like, I actually, like, kind of hate Adam Sandler. I don't hate Seth MacFarlane, because he comes off as likable. His problem is that he just throws everything at the wall, and, like, not all of it sticks.
Definitely.
It's kind of respectable in a way, but, like, the man does have talent. Like, he's a great singer, too. Like, I listen to some of his swing stuff. It's like... It's funny to think the dude who made, like, all these fucking fart jokes could do such, like, great fucking swing music.
Good-ass crooner, fucking Sinatra-style shit.
Yeah.
He's fucking... I love that kind of stuff, and...
Like, when we were setting up for Christmas and he did his version of Baby It's Cold Outside, I'm like, this is really cool. This is good.
Like, if he were to ever lose his job in animation and writing, he could definitely fucking... make a shitload of money in the music world.
But I think he's been. I've heard like many times that he's wanted Family Guy to end. So I think like I shouldn't blame him for all this stuff because there's also producers and other writers. That
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like it's not him at fault. Whereas in Adam Sandler, it's like it's you.
Yeah. So what is your number 3?
My number 3 is it's a very quick 10-second little guitar thing, but it's Clerks the animated series.
Hell yeah.
And this is what I was talking about, where it's like people don't give cartoons enough time to thrive.
You are right about that, dude.
I watched those 6 episodes. I'm like, this had a lot of potential to become a great fucking show. Because these episodes, like, sure, not every joke hits, and some of the like resolutions to the plots are kind of out of nowhere. But it's like, it still would have made a sweet show.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Like. It was almost like, all right, because the movies had a certain style, and it felt like, he's taking these characters, and they can't be as wild as they can be in the movies. So, instead of blatant, I don't know, man, like, Jay seemed a little dumber in the cartoon, but it worked.
Yeah,
like, it was
they
funny.
changed them from, like, drug dealers to, they say this in the commentary of the DVD, it's like, we had to change Jay and Silent Bob from drug dealers to merry mischief makers.
Yeah, and, like,
because,
it
they
worked.
Make, like, one reference to a bong.
Yeah, he's like, that dog looks like a bong.
Like a bong.
That building looks like a bong.
It looks like a bong, too. The problem with the show is that they signed to, like, the wrong channel. Like,
yeah, like, what was it, NBC?
Like ABC. Like, that's not a place for Clerks to be.
Like, they even, like, the first episode that aired was, like, episode 4. And then it was canceled by the time they got, like, 3 or 4 episodes on fucking air. I was so pissed, dude. And then, like, Cartoon Network started playing them all in reruns. That's when I
found out about it.
Man.
I was really young and staying up late because, it's the weekend. It's like, woo, I can stay past my bedtime. And I'm up at, like, 12 o'clock, just, like, chilling around, fucking in the same basement I'm talking in right now. It's changed so much. Just playing with fucking clay figures because I like stop-motion animation.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden this Clerks show comes on. And this is the first time I ever hear of Jay and Silent Bob and stuff like that. And I mentioned it to my mom, like, the next day. And this is where I find out about, like, these... She's like, oh, yeah, your dad was into Clerks and stuff like that. I'm like, wait, he watched the cartoon? She's like, I don't remember it ever being a cartoon. But, and then years later, I started watching Comic Book Men. I'm like, Jay and Silent Bob, why does that name ring a bell? I'm like, fuck, it's like, there was a cartoon about this, and then it took till Netflix for me to find out about Clerks. And now I'm just a huge Kevin Smith fan, like...
Yeah, true that.
All out. But it's like, it's weird. So the cartoon did do some good, so that's what makes me wish, like, it could have stayed around longer, because it's like, you really, like, could have introduced me to Clerks at a young age. It's like, you could have done it for everyone else.
Classic Pfeiffer.
Yeah, and they were also, in the commentaries, they were bringing up episode ideas that they had but never got around to doing. And there was one episode idea they had where it was going to be like Kid from Knight Rider wants to steal Dante's identity. No, it's like the car starts putting on like Dante's clothes and hanging out behind the counter. Like, oh yes, I am Dante.
Like,
and it's like,
that would have worked.
So stupid he doesn't realize it.
That would have worked, man. Like, that's what I liked about that cartoon, man.
It's not like the movie, but it's still like funny and still captures like the spirit of like what Kevin Smith tries to accomplish.
Yeah, dude, like it totally fucking worked. Like when they put fucking George Lucas on trial, and you got fucking Randall over there. Like, we know you didn't write Phantom Menace. You didn't have all that written ahead of time. You wrote that over a weekend.
It was a bad movie. Can't you just admit you wrote it over a weekend and it wasn't written for years? And Judge Reinhold's the judge. And all of a sudden you just cut the fucking Jay, like, being assassinated like JFK.
That shit was good.
Where they have the big JFK reference.
That shit was good.
But it's weird because you could also see, like, ideas they took from the cartoon into the next movies. Like the movie that came out after the animated series was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and they brought back like the idea of them stealing a monkey and stuff like that. And in the JFK parody part, like the dude who's supposed to be Kevin Costner or something, like references donkey shows. I'm like, that's Clerks too. They're eventually going to do that.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me wish they brought it back as sort of like a web series or something, but it's already like way too late for that.
Yeah.
And it would have been cool for them to do like other anime series, like Mallrats. I could see being an animated series too.
Because like they did that Jay and Silent Bob's groovy cartoon movie.
That was good.
I actually have not seen it yet.
It's fun. It's super low budget, but it's cute. But I like the animation style of the Clerks cartoon much better, I'll admit.
Yeah, because the groovy cartoon movie, all the animation I've seen kind of looks like it wants to have that kind of Ren and Stimpy.
It looks like it wants to be like the cover totally looks like Schoolhouse Rock and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like it reminds me of like a lot of the animation from that Rob Zombie movie that
El Super Beasto.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of that style.
I like El Super Beasto, so I'm down with that. Movie. But the animation is by Steve Stark, who does like when Kevin Smith records a podcast, they used to do Smodimations, where they took like funny bits from the podcast and animated it. So they just took that animation style and made a whole movie out of it.
Yeah, because that shit was all over his smodcast.com.
Yeah, it's a cute little movie, but it's like it's not something you'd really like hold up in like the Kevin Smith catalog as like one of the greats. Like I sort of forget it exists.
Yeah.
And really it was more Jason Mewes' project because like he was just like I believe he was like just recovering from all his like addictions and shit.
Yeah.
And now like he's actually finding his niches, like, and it turns out he's actually really good at producing shit.
Hell yeah. So my number 3 is goddamn Cat Dog.
Cat dog down, gotta rise above it, gotta try to get along, gotta walk together, gotta sing this song. Cat dog, alone in the world is a little cat dog. Cat dog.
Sweet. I was gonna put Cat Scratch on my list somewhere, but I totally just forgot about it until like right now. But Cat Dog was great.
Yeah, like
I remember I used to have a Cat Dog figure that like I used to have so much fun with, or somebody in my family did, and I used to play around with it, and then one day it just vanished.
Damn.
And I still miss it because it was a weird figure. It's a weird cartoon.
Yeah, it was a real weird cartoon. And like, but the theme song, dude, this is where I'm like, this song, the fucking lyrics are good. It's a straight up Western style kind of fucking track. And fuck, dude, like that song, you wouldn't expect a badass like Western country kind of song to be for such a weird cartoon like Cat Dog.
Yeah.
And like, fuck, dude, it almost kind of reminds me of like when Ween would do a country song.
Yeah. And now look at that. Now we did the SpongeBob soundtrack, so it's like it all comes full circle. They come to Nick.
Yeah.
And now it's become a meme. Ocean Man.
Take me by the hand, lead me to
Like
the
if
land.
you haven't seen the Ocean Man memes, like they're hilarious.
I have not, man.
Yeah, they just keep like Ocean Man's become like this song that everyone loves to like not like make fun of, but like they keep replaying the ending to the SpongeBob movie where it's like, this is the best day of my life. Then he jumps up and it freeze frames. But instead of it sounding like normal, they just like blow your ears off. It's just like, Ocean Man, take me by the hand, bring me to the land. Or they cut to like a kid like voice crack and say like, Ocean Man. Like
Man, the album
they
that
totally
song
just
is
fuck
on,
up the
dude,
song.
is fucking amazing.
That was like the perfect end credit song to the SpongeBob movie. That soundtrack was great. They got fucking Motorhead in there. Oh my god. But yeah, Cat Dog is a really great show. I should rewatch it sometimes. I should rewatch it because I remember really liking it. It's kind of like a weird Human Centipede for kids now that I think about it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Like, you could rework this into, like, some weird, like, Cronenbergian horror movie. All right, so my number 2 is the Spider-Man theme, but not any Spider-Man theme. I'm talking Spider-Man from the 90s. Where they got Joe Perry from fucking Aerosmith to do those awesome guitars.
Spider-Man, radioactive Spider-Man.
Now that I heard that it actually was Joe Perry who did it, it's like you could totally hear it.
That's badass. I fucking loved that song. Everybody loves that X-Men song, right?
Yeah, that's what I was like. Look, X-Men was the better show.
It really was.
The X-Men theme is fucking badass.
But that Spider-Man song was the shit.
That show had going for it, because let's be honest, the animation to the Spider-Man show was a little cheap, but the theme song was so good.
Yeah, dude. That fucking guitar riff, man.
It's stuck in my head to this day. Everyone loves the 60s one. I love it too. I like the Spectacular Spider-Man theme too, but the one that sticks out in my head is like the most awesome Spider-Man theme is the 90s one.
Yeah, like that weird vocal effect that the guy was singing through, man. Radioactive.
That's another way you could tell it's the guitarist to Aerosmith, because he does that a lot in Aerosmith songs.
So I never checked too much Aerosmith out, man.
Yeah,
I only know their popular
the
songs.
Sweet Emotion, he always uses that like a sound effect on there. So
yeah, that weird
really
talk
fits,
box
like, the Spider-Man
thing.
sound too. Like it really makes you want to just swing on webs and stuff like that. It's got like the descending notes, like there
was a Spider-Man game on Sega Genesis that had a chiptune version of that song that was really cool.
For some reason, that sound, that descending sound, like just registers as spider in your head. And that just reminded me, there was a Spider-Man game for in Super Nintendo. They had like a bit crushed version of like a Black Sabbath song. I think it was like the Mob Rules or something like that. They just bootlegged the fucking Black Sabbath song.
Well, I also know there was that the Maximum Carnage video game for Spider-Man.
I think that was it.
That was actually Green Jello. It was a chiptune version of their song Carnage Rules, and that song is the first track on their album 333. Dude, the actual real version of that song kicks ass.
Wasn't Danny Carey from Tool in Green Jelly?
Yeah, he played. It's funny. He played drums on their first album. And then Maynard James Keenan did the voice of the Little Pigs on the Three Little Pigs song.
Yeah, I remember, because Green Jelly was around before Tool, and this is sort of like how they all met each other.
Yeah, they were on the same record label, that Zoo Entertainment.
Yeah. Interesting stories, but, dude, I cannot get the Spider-Man 90s theme out of my head. It's like, you just start headbanging to it, and I remember, I had, a couple of the episodes on VHS, so that, it's my childhood, man, or whenever it was on Fox, I'd remember it, or whatever station it was on. I remember the episode where they crossed over with Daredevil and stuff.
Yeah, dude, and then, they did the big, I think it was the Secret Wars, episode, where, he had, you had all the different Spider-Mans in there, like the Ben Reilly, and the armored suited Spider-Man and shit. That show was pretty fucking good. If you can get past the animation.
Madam Web. That's the one thing I miss in some of these new Spider-Man movies. Is they should start integrating Madam Web. She was a cool character.
Yeah, seriously.
I also remember the VHS tapes. VHS were cool. After you watch the main feature, they'd always leave something else extra. Before DVD special features, it's if you just sticked around longer, you get some awesome little goodies. And they used to also have episodes of the original 60s Spider-Man, so it was cool to watch the 90s one and then see so this is the original Spider-Man. It's they're two completely different shows, but it's they're both awesome.
Hell yeah. So what was that? Your number 2?
That was my number 2.
Oh shit. So my number 2 is another Nicktoon, man. My last several were Nicktoons, but this is probably one of the most beloved Nicktoons that a lot of people don't remember, but the people that remember it can't get enough of the shit. But you never hear anyone talk about the fucking theme song fucking kablam.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of this.
You've never heard of kablam?
Like part of it sounds kind of familiar. What's the show about?
Dude, it was a comic book, and you had these two cartoon characters, Henry and June, and it was basically a variety show. Like, they would host each segment, and there were different segments with all different animation styles. There was Prometheus and Bob, that was this alien who was teaching a caveman how to basically...
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, they had
Prometheus and Bob.
They had Action League Now on there.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Sniz and Fondue.
It's like you just shot me in the head, and like all memories just started flowing back. It's like now, yeah, I've heard of this.
But yeah, dude, like, man, me and my brother used to kill that show when it first came out, dude. And the theme song, man, it was like straight up fucking mighty Boss Tones type fucking ska music, or even like early No Doubt sounding ska, or Real Big Fish. And it was badass, dude. I was like, fuck, man, like, but nobody ever remembers that shit. And like,
it's hard to find footage of it too.
Yeah, that's dead ass for real. But supposedly the guy who created the show, he's got a website where you can watch every single episode for free.
That's sick.
Yeah, that is pretty tight. But yeah, that theme song was awesome, dude, because like, it would show clips of the different shows they had on there, and fucking, you got straight up just cool ass horn ska music, man. Fucking, that was also...
I'm always down with a little bit of ska on my soundtrack. That's awesome.
For real, like, that was also when like ska was pretty, like, at its peak in popularity toward the mid to late 90s, like when Real Big Fish was fairly popular and No Doubt was coming out. So it was like, it really it captured that moment in time really well.
Awesome. And now we reach number 1.
Oh shit.
And I think I told you this when we were chatting about this before in Messenger.
Oh.
That I had to put this as number 1. Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond.
I grew up the concept to this show was just awesome. It's almost like as if you got Peter Parker to be Batman, because Terry McGinnis sort of has quips and stuff like that, but futuristic Gotham. It almost takes from The Dark Knight Returns in a way, that Bruce Wayne gets too old, and he passes on the torch to Terry McGinnis, who becomes Batman. New suit, futuristic Gotham, but the soundtrack is just so badass, especially the opening theme. One, the animation is weird, pretty looking, but also, like, you can never expect a kid show to have an opening like this ever again. Like, they're flashing shit on the screen, like symbolism and shit like that. They're using words like apathy and stuff like that. It's like, you think kids know what fucking apathy and corruption mean?
Seriously.
It's like, this was clearly a show for, like, teens, young adults, or just adults. It's like, it pisses me off that it's like we haven't gotten a live action movie of this yet, because
that would be cool.
It would be amazing. Like, instead of DC like trying to make Superman emo, why don't you give the people what they want and fucking like give us Batman Beyond?
Yeah.
It sucks though, because if I think of anyone who could play Terry McGinnis, like, people would agree with me. Everyone says like Joseph Gordon-Levitt would like kill it as Terry McGinnis, but he was already in The Dark Knight Rises, so it's like,
yeah, he was Robin, not Robin.
Yeah. Rockin' Robin. But what's it called? Just the guitar, and just like some of the imagery in that too. Like, it gets really sexual when you get to like the nightclub part.
Yeah,
and, like,
dude.
Kids are not. That's the best sound ever. I don't even know how to describe that sound. But if you're taking samples from like any of the theme, use when they get to the nightclub, because that shit is dope. But you watch the shit and you sort of get on edge. You're just like, this is some heavy shit, Doc. Like, if they made a serious movie about this, Like, it would be awesome. Not to mention the show was just amazing in general. Like, you got people like Henry Rollins coming in to do voices.
Yeah, dude.
They did the Return of the Joker, which was awesome. They brought Mark Hamill back.
Yeah, that cartoon was pretty badass to me, especially after like the animated series kind of started to fall off with me.
Yeah, because they did the big animation change in season 4. There were still some great episodes in season 4, but they changed it to like the Batman Superman show, which the Superman show was never really something special. But then they made like such a great sequel, and they brought Joker back to his original design when they did the Return of the Joker part.
Yeah, thank God for that.
And they gave him red eyes, which only made him freakier.
But hell yeah, dude. So,
but again, like I said, the concept alone was just amazing, and in many ways, it was my introduction to Batman. It's like the earliest thing I can remember of Batman watching. So it's like I knew Terry McGinnis before Bruce Wayne.
Dude, my introduction to Batman was fucking Tim Burton, dude, when I was a little kid. Like, that's why...
I remember watching that too, but like as far back as I can remember, it was Batman Beyond.
I know a lot of people are going to cuss me out for this, but god damn it, my favorite Batman movie ever is Batman Returns, god damn it.
You know, I don't hate that movie. Like, sure, it's more of a Tim Burton movie than a Batman movie, but
yeah.
My brother would kind of agree with you in a way. I don't think he'd say it's his favorite Batman movie, like he loves the Christopher Nolan ones, but like, whenever we talk about the older Batman movies, like, my brother would be like, I really like the one with the Penguin. I'm like, really? Like, it's
like,
really weird and stuff like that, and it's like really like an odd form of dark and weird, like not dark and gritty, it's just really like demented. And he's like, yeah, that's why I like it.
Yeah, like, I fucking love the shit. Dude,
Danny DeVito did great in it, so
yeah, like, I mean,
I'm down with it. And Michael Keaton is one of the best on-screen Batmans, so
seriously,
I think Christian Bale was like the best Bruce Wayne, but then when he did the Batman voice, like, I don't really hate it, but it's like it sort of took it down a notch.
Yeah, like
there's no doubt the best Batman will always be Kevin Conroy. Like, when you hear that voice, that's Batman.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Same thing with Mark Hamill as the Joker. It's like you pick up a Batman comic, those are the voices you're going to hear. But like when Michael Keaton does it, like, I understand why Christian Bale did the growly voice thing, because it's like, realistically, you got to disguise your voice somehow, or else people are going to know, like, oh, that's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But you could clearly tell, like, if someone picked you up and went, like, where are the other drugs going? You know immediately. You're like, you're putting on a voice.
Yeah.
But in the 1989 Batman movie, when he picks up that dude and he's like, I'm not going to kill you, it's like, you know he's putting on a voice, but it sounds like someone's real voice.
Yeah.
And then when he pulls him in, he's like, I'm Batman. You're like, yeah, you are. You're Batman.
Yeah. You know, he's just making it a little more intimidating. That, to me, is a little more intimidating than...
And then Affleck's Batman voice was all right. When everyone heard that Affleck was going to be Batman, we all freaked out, me included. But now that I actually see him, and also I saw all of Kevin Smith's movies and stuff like that, and I started to like Affleck more and more. I saw Argo and all stuff. I'm like, this guy's actually really awesome. And I always sort of liked the Daredevil movie. I'm not gonna lie, it was always a guilty pleasure. But yeah, his voice could be fixed a little bit, but that's why it's making me kind of sad when I hear the rumors like Ben Affleck might be backing out of Batman, because he said like he wrote a Batman script and that he's going to write and direct his own Batman movie in 2020. And I think if he had control over this character, he'd make an actual good movie. Because I haven't been impressed with the DC Cinematic Universe so far. It's like, Man of Steel, when I first saw it, I liked it, but it's because it was at a midnight screening and I was half asleep, so I was just like, I wasn't even like watching it. I was just enjoying like, oh, okay, yeah, Superman. But then when we watched it on demand, I couldn't sit through it. I'm like, something's off here. Then Batman v Superman was just a total fucking train wreck, with the exception of some good moments. Like, Wonder Woman was pretty cool. I think seeing Bruce Wayne actually do some detective work was, like, pretty sweet. And then Suicide Squad, the only reason I like it, like, it's not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I like it because at least it has, like, a personality and charisma to it, and they had fun.
Yeah.
Like, at least it wasn't dark and dour and, like, slit your wrists depressing. Like, they were actually, it's fun to be the bad guys. But the problem with that is like, why would you send these criminals to fight like a god. It should have been them versus the Joker. Like, that would have brought it down to their level and made it, like, gritty and... But these are, like, podcast ideas for, like, the future right here. But I feel like if Affleck gets his own chance to do his Batman movie, he could do it right.
Yeah, true that.
Because he clearly understands the character.
Yeah. See, to me, like, none of those characters are like sacred to me. Like, I've only seen 2 movies in the whole Marvel universe. I haven't seen any of these fucking DC universe movies. 'Cause, like, I mean, I was a Spider-Man and X-Men kid, and I was done with X-Men after X-Men 3. People tell me some of these new ones are decent. Still haven't got around to it. And I loved the first 2 Spider-Man movies.
Were great.
Loved the first 2 Spider-Man movies. 3 pissed me off. I said, I'm done with this shit. And so I never got around to watching the Amazing Spider-Man movies. And so now, there's not even a point since that franchise is dead now. But yeah, I was mostly an Image kid when I was growing up, like, and I still hate the fact that we're not ever gonna get a proper Spawn movie. I would like a proper fucking. I mean, you'll probably never get any other Image comic movie. You're not gonna see Youngbloods and Wetworks and shit like that, but fucking, like, that was my shit. Like, the Max, I would love to see a Max movie. Or even some Top Cow comics, man, like The Darkness and Witchblade, like
I
those.
was about to say that. I want to get a Darkness movie.
Like, those would be great, but, like, it's always Marvel and DC.
I want to get a Darkness movie. What else do I want? Like, yeah, a proper Spawn movie would be amazing.
Yeah.
Which I hear, like, people always rumor that it's going to happen eventually. Like, people want it to happen. But I don't think a studio's gotten onto it yet. Yeah, Spawn, The Darkness. Back to, like, Hellsing. The Hellsing live-action movie, like, manga to American screen isn't really a good transition. Like, the Dragon Ball movie was terrible, but
that was awful.
Hellsing takes so much from, like, Western European culture that's, like, you could easily, like, it might actually work better with an English audience than a Japanese audience. What other comic was I thinking of that I would love to see? The Spirit. I would love a real Spirit movie. Because, yeah, I'm not going to lie, when I was a little kid getting into comic books, there was, like, this History Channel documentary that I used to watch constantly. And when they talked about the Spirit, I was fascinated by it because either it was Will Eisner or someone else who worked on the Spirit. And I love just the simplicity of his character. That's, like, when they were talking over the phone, it's like back in, like, the 1930s, when we were coming up with the character, like, I was sitting in the diner and Will calls me up. It's like, what should his costume be? It's like, like a little bandit's mask, give him that and a hat and gloves. Give him some gloves. And that cracked me up. And I'm like, yeah, dude, give him some gloves.
Make him look like the Shadow.
And I'll admit, like, when I saw the Spirit movie as a child, which, wow, did we not expect to get what we got. I'm sure, like, my mom and my aunt, when we were watching that, they were like, we shouldn't have taken him to see this. Like, what the fuck? Because there was some dark shit that happened in that movie. I remember enjoying it, though, because I'll admit, I do enjoy Frank Miller's visual style.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, I like some of his writing, too. Like, I like Sin City. I love Sin City. I like The Dark Knight Returns. I like his early and mid work, but then when you start to realize, like, his tropes, it really starts to, like, fuck with you and bother you. And then when you just start to find out, like, what kind of a person he is, like, he's kind of a racist, misogynistic asshole.
Yeah.
That's, like, the Spirit movie could have been great. Again, I could totally see Joseph Gordon-Levitt pulling off the Spirit done right. If you just keep the visual style, but tell a story more similar to the Eisner stories, like, have it with, like, that, while also updating some of the stuff, because there are some characters in the Spirit comics that are, like, not good for the times. Like, if you look at Ebony White, like, he's such a racist, like, black caricature that you just feel uncomfortable when you're reading it. But, like, you could, like, pass it by because it was a different time. When you watch the Spirit movie and there's all, like, this sexism going on, stuff like that, you're like, Like, Frank, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, the sexism in Sin City worked because that place was like a violent hellhole, and
Yeah.
in my mind, it was never meant to be a good thing. It was just meant to, like, solidify how shitty this place is. But then when you get to, like, think the way Frank Miller thinks, it's like, I don't think that was ever meant to be a bad thing. I think that's just how he thinks the world should work, and that's kind of fucked up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so the Spirit movie, this could be a whole other podcast. Like, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I always end up going back and watching it, mostly for the visual style, but also just because I just think it's such an... I think he's an underrated character, and he's one of my favorite comic book characters ever since I was little. So I feel like he should be done again properly. There's only been 2 Spirit movies, one with Sam Jones, who played Flash Gordon, and the Frank Miller one. And both of them are, like... They're not that great.
So, I guess my number 1, bro.
Oh yeah, we're still doing this list. I just started talking about Spirit.
Oh shit. But no, man, that I don't mind going off topic because it
Yeah,
lets
I
the
remember when we did
audience.
the Pink Floyd podcast, it turned into like a Phil Collins podcast.
So, but speaking of Phil Collins and the style of 80s Genesis, they have nothing to do with this theme song, but when you hear it, it sounds like 80s Genesis. Fucking Bobby's World. Have you ever...
I've heard about this. I've heard about Bobby's World.
You've ever...
I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
Dude, I used to love Bobby's World when I was a kid, man. It was just it was a cartoon with a little kid and his weird little animation and shit. His Uncle Ted was cool and shit, but the theme song was weird, dude. Just straight up fucking 80s sounding synth music, and it's like it's fucking, it's weird sounded, man, but like it's, I don't know, man. It sounds like 80s Genesis to me. It sounds like fucking what's his name? Tony Banks is fucking playing on that shit. But,
Yeah, I think, yeah.
But like, it's goddamn.
Banks, Collins, and Rutherford.
Yeah, seriously, like that's what the fuck it sounds like, dude. It sounds like an instrumental,
like post Gabriel Collins era.
Yeah, like deep into the fucking like. It sounds like it could be if it took a lot of the cartoon goofiness out. It sounds like it could be on Invisible Touch.
I'll have to check out this theme then.
Yeah, like it's pretty fucking cool. The opening of the cartoon was cool too, man. Like fucking they used to have Bobby's World on Netflix, and we would get stoned and watch some of that, and the opening when you're stoned was pretty fucking awesome.
I'm sure like any cartoon stoned is just the greatest thing in the world.
It really is, dude. It really is. I remember, man, when my brother, he was living with us for a while, and fucking, I had to go to work, man, and my wife and my brother were off one day, and I called out. I was like, man, fuck going to work today. So I hung out with them, dude, and I was fucking smoking weed with them. And dude, they had it on Cartoon Network all morning, and I'm like, so this is what y'all do on y'all's off days, is smoke weed and watch cartoons? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I can get down with that.
So I'm really gonna have to check out Bobby's World theme because I've heard people talk about this show. Like the name rings a bell. I'm like, I've been meaning to check it out. So
yeah, it was a cool cartoon to me when I was a little kid. Fucking, but that theme song, dude, like it's one that like you will never get it out of your head once you hear it, man.
yeah, in a world of stuff like the DuckTales themes and the Looney Tunes themes, this list that we just went through, these are the themes that I feel and you feel need more attention because a lot of time and effort and whatever else went into it, like, it paid off. And they're just great pieces of music, minus the Heathcliff theme. That one can
These
go to
happy
hell.
days are. Oh
But
shit!
the rest of these, like, give them more attention, talk about them more. I want to see them on more lists because, like, everyone knows the Ninja Turtles theme. Everyone knows, everyone knows these themes. Everyone knows the Batman animated series theme and all that stuff. But, like, let's give some love to, like, fucking the Billy and Mandy theme. Like, everyone knows the whistling from the Ed, Edd n Eddy theme.
Yeah. Like, everyone knows that. And, like, I mean, for real, man, even, like, people watching this, man, what are some of y'all's favorite underrated cartoon themes? Seriously.
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
And have you even seen some of these cartoons we've mentioned?
Yeah, and what cartoons do you love? Maybe we haven't seen some of the cartoons you're talking about. Like, what cartoons did you grow up with? You know?
Seriously. Like, that was weird, man. Man, there was a generation gap here, man. But that's totally cool, dude, because, like, fucking we can have this...
It makes a more dynamic conversation.
Yeah, man, because, like, now this podcast audience can range from, like, 15-year-olds to 40-year-olds.
Yeah. And it's like, even though there's, like, this generation gap, we still like the same stuff and we still, like, agree on most of the same things and stuff like that. So it's like, it's not too big a deal anyway.
Yeah, seriously. I'll just be like, oh, man. It's like either you were in diapers when I was watching it, or I was, like, fucking...
Or you were in diapers for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, because I'm about to be there pretty soon. Back to diapers.
You're not there yet. Come on. How old did you say you were? 33?
30.
Yeah, dude, you're good.
I don't know. Give it another 4 or 5 years.
But anyway, this has been the first episode of Fresh from the Basement. Tell us what you think.
Yeah.
We hope to do more of these soon, ranging in many different subjects. Maybe next podcast won't be a top 10 because the only ideas we've been bouncing off each other is like top 10, top 10, top 10. So I'm just going to start trying to think of ideas that aren't lists. But you can find me at my YouTube channel, DFDV Production, all lowercase, no spaces, where I'll possibly post this podcast. You can find him at Bloody Chuckle Studios. And anything else you'd like to plug?
Yeah, just check us out on the YouTube, the Bloody Chuckle Studios, and rtgomer.com, and horrorphilia.com.
Yep, guys, support Horrorphilia. They do good work.
Definitely. And also, listen to our music on soundcloud.com at Bloody Chuckle Studios.
They make great music, too, so make sure you check all these things out. This is Frank Del Vecchio, FDV.
FDV. This has been Monster. Monster or Travis. Or Skullet.
The Jonester.
The Jonester. Trevor Jonesy. This has been Trevor Jonesy. That's my alias, dude.
They'll never find you now.
Yeah, they'll never find me now. Like, when my truck got stolen a couple years ago, I was on the fucking news because I was working for Meals on Wheels, and, like, they stole all the food with it. And it pissed me off, dude. It was fucking chili day, dude. And I had, like, 14 leftover meals that I was going to be able to have and fucking eat chili, dude. And they fucking took my goddamn chili. But, I was on the news, right? And they asked me my name. I said, Travis Jones. We watch it on the fucking news. On, I can't remember, it was like Fox News. They say, Trevor Jones. And then I was on the NBC News, the local over here, and they said, Travis Jonesy. And I'm like, what
Trevor
the
Jonesy.
fuck? Yeah, so I'm Trevor Jonesy, yo.
Yeah, FDV was actually a nickname given to me when I used to take guitar lessons. My guitar teacher, like, my last name has a space in it, and the V in Del Vecchio is capital.
Yeah.
So it's like, so he thought it was FDV. And I'm like, it just sort of stuck. It's a cool sounding thing. So. But I also remember once we went to Splish Splash water park, and we were buying tickets, and they put like your name on the tickets, and my brother or my cousin, they still hold on to this day, because they call me Frankie. All right, because like I'm the young one, like, but they spelled it wrong, and it came out Frabke. And I was like, who the fuck is named Frabke? But that was years ago. But every once in a while, they'll just pull out the ticket and be like, yo, Frank, look at this. And I'll be like, God damn it, you still have this?
Hell no.
Frabke.
Oh, shit. But alright, y'all. We will see y'all on the next podcast.
Fresh from the basement.
Fresh.
I'm trying to think of an outro catchphrase. We'll think of it soon enough.
Yes. We will. Alright,
Yes,
y'all.
that is our outro. Yes.
Yes.